Hello, y'all, and good afternoon. Um, it's late in the day. I said I would do a video earlier this morning, but I'm getting my rest that I needed because I really needed some rest bad. And so now I'm resting and I'm able to get a little bit more clarity, like I said and explained to y'all. But I did make a promise to y'all last night that I was going to be elaborating a little bit more on about KFC and what happened to me at KFC. Okay. So, a lot of the times when, asked about KFC, I said I wasn't going to, bash or be negative because I didn't want to ever sound like a disgruntled employee because, that happens a lot. When people are terminated or they're let go, that all the bad stuff about, the company come out, with their tongue, regarding that. But had they not been let go or terminated, then all that stuff you would have never heard about it. So I didn't want to appear to be one of them people, you know. But so I let stuff go. I took the high road because I'm not looking back, I'm looking ahead. You know what I'm saying? But there's a difference between taking the high road, looking back and looking ahead. But then when something from your past is affecting your future, then that's a problem. And why do I say that? I say that because, I'm trying to gain the trust from the community. I'm trying to gain the trust from, vendors. I'm trying to gain your trust. I'm trying to, gain my customers' trust, and, when somebody says something, a little snippet of something, that has anything to do with KFC, knowing that I left there, and I'm moving on. And there's somebody that wants to do business with me now in my new life is affected by, business from my old life, then it's a problem. So now I have to set the record straight because I took the high road, meaning that, there was some things said about me, that was not true. But, knowing that I knew the truth, it didn't matter to me. So people, you can say what you want to say, long as I know the truth, you know. But when it's starting to affect my coin in my new life, then I got to stand up and say something about it. And if anybody know me, my head would be what? Spinning around and spinning around, okay? And there's something inside of me be having convulsions trying to come out. So I have to speak about it, okay? So anybody that knows me within this community, now anybody that's looking at me, on here and just meeting me on YouTube, then you don't know. So anybody that knows me knows that whenever you seen me, you seen KFC. Even if it was in my personal life, you always seen KFC surrounding me. You know what I'm saying? And I loved it, my job at KFC. Don't get it messed up. I will never, ever, 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 argue with the fact or the truth that KFC gave me everything that I have today. Okay? Anybody will tell you whether it's the car, the house, the nice things. I always told people this came from chicken and biscuits. Okay? Don't get it twisted. Okay? So, being that I was at that company for a long, 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 long time, and when you do something repetitiously day in and day out, you become to know it like the back of your hand. It becomes part of your DNA. So, that's how I was able to go in there, tired, wore out, stressed out, and perform. Because I knew the place inside and out. And, when you know something inside and out, it's just like walking around, like, putting your shoes on, putting your socks on, stuff like that. It becomes that easy. And then this also became enjoyable because I was able to challenge myself. You know what I'm saying? I was able to challenge myself and learn new things and do different things and to be able to, you know, find out what I have in me, because KFC will pull it out of you, whether you want it or not. It's going to pull it out of you and see if you got it. Because one thing the Colonel said, and it always resonated with me, he said, a real meal is a real meal made the hard way. And he ain't never lied about that. Everything that resonates with KFC is hard. Like it don't gotta be that hard, but it is. You know what I'm saying? And but I love the work. I love dealing with people. I'm a talker, so I talk to people. I talk to customers. I engage. You know what I'm saying? I engaged in my team. I was passionate about what I did. And I chopped some people's heads off in my years at KFC. But I always said I have never chopped off an innocent person's head. Okay? People know what they do. Okay, and they know why, when they're doing it. They know how they did it, and they know everything. But we'll play innocent and play the victim and stuff. When stuff is bought. So I say that to say that if there's anybody out there that's listening who got their head chopped off by me, you know damn well you know what you did. Okay, so don't act like you're victimized when it comes to me, because I'm not. I don't victimize people. Okay, and I don't victimize innocent people. Okay. So, therefore, I say that to say that, I never chopped off an innocent person's head. They deserve what they got. Let me tell it anyway. But, anyhow, never chopped off an innocent person's head. But I don't want to get off of my subject of why we're here right now. But, I worked for the company for years and I learned the company inside and out. So, through a period of time, have you ever heard the saying, it's like the monkey in a till? It can run into a whole lot of cash. Okay. So years ago, this goes all the way back to Delia, Keita, and all of us. We all was together in that store. There was certain issues where customers would get charged for something that they was anticipating to buy, and they would get charged for it. And in our system, it would say you wasn't charged for it. It would say that your system, your card was declined. And but on the customer's end, it would say you just spent this money at KFC, and it would take the money off. But in our system, it would say decline. So I don't know if any of y'all know what position that will put me in, because I have you, the customer, stating and showing me your phone and your smartphone and your bank app stating that this money was just took off of your card for this meal. But in my end, it's telling me that no money was taken off of your card was declined. So the position that it put me in is this. Do I make an informative decision by saying, I'm going to go ahead and give you this food because I believe you? That the money was taken off your card, but on my end it's not showing that it was. Well, as much as I would have loved it to do that, that would have been great, to do for somebody that's sitting on the other side of the window whose money just was spent. But from a businessman's point of view, my entrusted system that has been vetted and vetted and vetted day in and day out is making a drastic mistake. It's telling these customers that no money was taken off of their card, but yet it was. So I have to say to the customer, as a businessman, I can't give you this food because on my trusted end, it's saying decline. But on your end, it's saying, that the money was taken off. I can see it. I have an app for my banking stuff, so I know what it is. But, you can make up an app and say this is that. So I can't give you that food. I just can't give it to you. So after a while of this happening time and time again, I said, you know what? Here, take this food because I believe you. Because I've seen it happen time and time again. So I believe you. So here go the food. Now, you can deal with getting your money back or, getting it straightened out through the other channel. But on my channel, since I'm here right now at this moment, I'm giving you this food. Because I've seen this happen before over and over and over again. So not only did it say that the card was declined on our end, and then saying the money was taken off on their end, but at the end of the day and at the end of the shift, the money that it took, that it said declined for whatever reason, I do not know, because I'm not a mathematician, I'm not an IT person, I wasn't then. I'm becoming now doing with my website. But I couldn't understand. I couldn't explain it. But I do know this that the tills was coming up short at the end of the night. Only when this was happening, only when that happened to a customer, the till will come up short. So I'm like, that's strange, you know. Then there was times when I went through a whole shift making money, making that money. And then at the end of the shift, after every shift, you would have to pull the till. And then, have the cashier drop the money, And so then there was instances when I pulled the till to drop the money, and it said that this till owes no money. And I said, that's impossible. We just made a truckload of cash. How could we not, owe the till money to drop money? So, me, I do what I'm supposed to do. I drop the money. Because what people don't know is that you're supposed to do a blind drop anyway. That means that once you pull your till, you're not supposed to count the money. You're supposed to input the money right into the cash catcher. Why do you do that? Because just in case a customer came through and we forgot to give them their change back. So now a crafty person would count the money out, say, oh, this money's over. And they would take that money and put it in their pocket. And then when you have the customer come back and say, oh, they never gave me my change back and y'all owe me change. Oh, well, that's not a problem, man. We can get you your money right now. Take the money right out of the till and give them their money. But you drop the money to ensure that it's dropped. And then you give them the money out the till, and then the till will just, make up for the discrepancy because it was over the other day anyway. That's why you do a blind drop. Okay, so I know about cash management. Don't get it messed up. I know very well about cash management. Okay, so we following all the rules. We doing what we supposed to do, and the cash was there. It was a discrepancy within the system. Why? I do not know. I have nothing to do with that. That's your system. Y'all go in there and maintenance that every day. Sometimes all day behind the scenes. We don't know. But I do know that it was an IT issue. So, for whatever reason, it was doing that. But fast forward years later, we have a meeting with the corporate office over cash management procedures and missing drops. Okay, missing drops. Drops meaning that at the end of the night when you go to drop your till, the money was coming up short. Okay, so I'm telling my boss this. He's telling me this. We're both trying to figure out what the hell is going on with this cash. And I explained to them, well, through my experience, this is what I've experienced. And I tell them about, about the drop saying no drop required, or, no money to drop, but there is money to drop, so I drop it anyway. I tell them about the customers coming through the drive-through, which they already know. Trust me. They know about the customers coming, getting charged, and it's saying that their card was declined, but the money was taken off of their thing. And they know about this. Why? Because after a while, I told the customer, I said, listen, I told the customer, call them and complain. File a complaint with the office and let them know that this is what happened to me. And I gave him the food. I said, but you got to call them. Because he wasn't charged once. He was charged twice. And what made me really act is because, remember, I'm a consumer just like everybody else. This man came to the drive-thru with $60. That's all he had was $60, and he knew what he had. And if anybody is an everyday person, then you know how this would feel. So he goes to the drive-thru with $60 to get a 16-piece meal or a 12-piece meal or whatever it was that would put him in that $60 range. And when he got to the window to pay, his card said declined. And how do I remember this because I was called over to the window to handle it. and his card was declined. So he said, like they all say, try it again. I know I got money. And he tries it again. And when he tried it again, it said declined again. But then he happened to pull out his card, his phone, and he seen on there that it took off not $60 once, but $60 twice. It took the $60 that he knew that he had, but then it also took his bank into overdraft. That resonated with me big time. I was like, oh, that's deep. So I said, you know what, sir? Here go the food right here. I gave him the food because I sympathize with everyday people because that's who I am. And I know how it would be to go out to feed your family and know you have the money, and then for big business to tell you that you don't got that money and we're not giving you no food. I gave him the food, and I also told him to complain about it to the company. So that set an offset about all this stuff and about this money machine that's taking people money. So what I found out through time is that everybody don't count their money. They trust businesses so much that they don't count their money. They don't count their change. They don't count their money. They don't open the app and see if the money really was taken off of there. They take what we tell them as truth 100% because they entrust us. So I couldn't let that man drive off through that drive-through without getting something. You just ain't gonna rob me, rape me, and don't give me something, okay? So I gave him his food, and I also gave him the information for him to complain about the money. So do you know it took him over a month to get his money back from them? Yeah. So we had a meeting with corporate, and they we was going over everything about the cash and all that. And I was, first and foremost, people don't know that I'm a sensitive, which I put out there before, that I could feel people energy overwhelmingly badly where it can drain you. And when the dude came from corporate, I was like, his energy, something about his energy that I wasn't feeling. But this is a meeting. This ain't about my feelings. This is a business meeting. So I'm not acting off of feeling. I'm going to making head decisions, okay, not emotional decisions. So we sit down, and I'm like to myself, y'all want to have it right here in the dining room? And they're like, yeah, we can have it right here in the dining room. So we have it in the dining room at rush hour, lunch rush. So the man is loud, and if anybody knows me, you know I'm loud. And if anybody works for KFC, y'all know Toyin is loud. So he louder than me. And I don't know how you louder than me, because I thought I was the loudest person on the world in the world compared to let people tell it, you know. But he louder than me, so you got two loud people having a conversation. So what happens when the conversations get heated between two loud people? Honey. So I'm explaining, so he's asking me, what do I think, and what do I think? Um, so I explained to him what I think. And then it's not only what I think, it's out of experience, of happening, I'm working at KFC all these years. So this is experience. This ain't what I think. This is my experience. So this is real. This is real. This is what happened as I know it happened. This is what I seen with my eyes. This is what I heard from the customers. Like, I seen it. This happened. So you don't never tell no 55-year-old person that they seen something, and then you try to tell them they didn't see it or that didn't happen. Because see, now you insulting me. Because not only did my eyes and ears get me through a lot, they got me through a lifestyle in the streets, and I survived. So you can't tell me that what I seen with my eyes and my ears, I didn't hear and see. You could tell that to somebody else, but I'm a survivor, baby. You hear me? I done been through it. So you ain't gonna just tell me I didn't see what I seen. So I let that slide. So I said, I know that he didn't just tell me I didn't see what I seen. And he did. So I let it slide, y'all. And if y'all know me, I'm tick, tick, boom, right? So that was a tick. So I let that slide. So then I guess he was just mad. I don't know if he didn't like me, or what, honey, but he was just angry with me. So I was just, I couldn't figure out why this nigga was so mad at me. So then he said, "You're lying." Oh, honey, that's when I jumped up, baby, and I couldn't take it no more. Now I'm lying. First of all, you told me that you didn't believe me. Now you believe in not believing me. That's your choice, not to believe me. I can't be mad at you if I tell you something and you don't believe me. But the minute you call me a liar, we got a problem. Because now you don't got to believe what I'm saying. But for you to call me a liar, that's insulting. Not only did you call me a liar, but you said it real loud, louder than me, and you said it in front of my customers, you said it in front of my team. And then you called us all thieves. You said we was all liars and we are all thieves in front of my customers and in front of my team. Baby, when that happened, I got up and I said, you know what? This meeting is basically over. F you, F you, F you, and F you. You could take this job and stick it up for all I care. Because guess what? You don't know me. I'm Terry Steele, okay? And I work, okay? And I loved it, my job. All these years, I loved my job. I said, but today I don't like my job no more. And I said, it ain't never been about the money. I said, because y'all don't pay nobody nothing, okay? So it ain't never been about the money. It's about doing something that I love. So I don't like that no more. So now that I don't like it no more, you don't get the chance to talk to me any kind of way that you want to be. That's just how I said it. And I said, and my boss jumped up. He jumped up. Oh, I'm suspending him. And I'm suspending him. And yada, 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 yada. And I said, suspended? I said, suspended? He said, suspended? I said, I will never, ever, ever work for anybody that is similar to you, look like you, or do business like you. I said, I will never work for you again. I said, I don't give a damn what you pay me. I said, they ain't been about the money. I said, when I was upstate, I said, I shoveled doo-doo on a long stick with a pan for 42 cents an hour. So that ought to tell you something about Terry Steele. Terry Steele will work. I said, so I will survive. I will be successful. And one thing you just showed me today, I said, you showed me, I said, all the years I've been trying to bring some class into this ghetto establishment. And then I just realized that I will never bring class into here because the ghettoist people is y'all, the corporate people, the owners, y'all all ghetto. And y'all love this. Y'all thrive in this. Okay, why do y'all love it and thrive in it? Because y'all make more money from it.
Can I throw a quick input in real quick?
Come on.
Just to shorten up, basically to add to what he said, they crooked, they grimy, and now we successful and got our own business. So we definitely appreciate y'all for vibing with us in the channel. Keep up the support. Love y'all.
Hey. Anyhow, back to what I was saying. So I read them, my rights. So Terry still didn't get fired for stealing. Terry still didn't get fired for whatever other bull crap they telling y'all. Terry still got suspended. Suspended. And because I got good sense, I let them suspend me. And I didn't quit. Because Terry still don't quit. I'm not a quitter. So I allowed them to fire me because I knew I got bills to pay. Okay? So they fired me. So I didn't get fired for stealing. So I don't know why they're allowing people to go around and put all these rumors out about me. And if anybody know me, if anything, I put money in KFC's tills. Okay, and that was backwards to me because I said I work for them. They don't work for me. I said, why do I gotta keep putting money back in they messed up tills because they messed up, technology and stuff. Like, why do I got to do that? That was ass to me. So I stopped doing that. But I got fired because I cussed them out. But I think I was fired way before that happened because that happened on a Friday or Thursday or Friday. On the Tuesday or Wednesday, I was off. And my phone ring at 9 o'clock in the morning. Sharp. And I pick up the phone in the bed, pick up the phone. Pick up the phone, and when I pick it up, I see my boss's face and his face on the screen. And I said, what the hell is this? So I put the phone down. I had to get my head. I said, what the hell is going on? Why are they on my phone? So I answer it. And boom, as soon as I answer, I'm staring them in their face. Both of them in my damn face. Sleep all down here looking all crazy. And I put the phone up to the ceiling and I go downstairs to get on my computer. But I got the phone in the air and the whole time I'm saying, this is my damn day off. Why are they bothering me? They ain't paying me today. It's my day off. So we had a meeting, and I think it was about complaints or something like that or whatever, a complaint call on my day off that I just gladly got on. But, I got on it. And mind you, they wasn't paying me no damn mind on my day off. Come harassing me, get me all stressed out on my day off. So we're having a meeting, and so the meeting went on. I was all well and fine, even though y'all was disrespectful, calling somebody on their day off. Okay, so I'm like, I went through the meeting. Then here come Diane. Diane. I'm called Diane Shish Kebab, honey. Diane Shish Kebab, because Bob is her sidekick. So I'm going to call her Diane Shish Kebab. Okay, so Diane and Bob is on the phone with me. And we're going over the store, and we're going over. And then now, this ain't had nothing to do with the meeting. Diane Shish Kebab going to go, oh, and just like this is what she was looking like. Oh, and yo, oh. Gotta take that Taco Bell line down on the front counter. Oh, honey, my head started spinning around like I was possessed. And I said, I agree with everything y'all was talking about. I said, but you're not in my store every day like I am. I said, so I don't know who you think you are to make a decision like that, to talk about take the Taco Bell line down from the front counter when you're not there dealing with all the mean, mad, angry customers waiting 20 and 30 and 40 and a lifetime for their one little taco order. You're not there for that, ma'am. So I agree with everything that you said, but you will not call me on my day off making these outrageous suggestions when you're not even there to experience it. I'm tired of y'all. I'm really tired of y'all calling me on my day off, bothering me, waking me up out of my sleep, stressing me out on my days off. I don't get no peace with y'all. And I hung the phone up, bam, so hard, Bell telephone ears rang when I got done with them. So, I believe, I said, damn. After I did that, I said, oh, you might be fired for that. But then I said, I don't care because it's my day off. I said, give me some peace. I need some peace from that monster. You know what I'm saying? Give me some peace. So that's why Terry still got fired. Okay? And the reason what really made me bring it up is because I met a customer just yesterday that says they went to KFC, and guess what happened to them? They got charged 3 times. Not once, but 3 times on their credit card. Okay? And they want to know what happened. Why did they get charged? And I don't work there no more. I don't want to be rude to you, but this is still on my piece. I'm walked on from that. But I just had to put that out there because I'm getting tired of going out into my community and being not harassed, but being brought back to remembrance of that day, which tarnished my beautiful memories of KFC, chicken and biscuits, So I just had to put the truth out there. And you can't argue with the truth. Okay, so that's why I'm not at KFC no more. Because I have standards and I stood up for myself. I didn't let anybody just talk to me and speak to me any kind of way that they wanted to. That's why. So, and I can back all the stuff that I got to say up. But that's litigation going on, so I can only speak for so much. But I did put that out there because, like I said, it's the truth, and you can't argue with the truth.